I just bought the first and only GSX-R powered plane motorcycle thing. You remember that airplane bike from Back to the Future? Of course you do. Except this one had an engine swap with a superbike, making it the most powerful one ever. It's pretty much the unholy union of a motorcycle and a whale. And I'm going to attempt to drive it 800 miles back home from Pennsylvania to Tennessee, the land of freedom, moon pies, and no state income tax. But I have to get it working right because it's got some major problems. But before we do any of that, we have to go buy it first. So we waited around near the alley at Hardee's in Middletown, Pennsylvania, a place that at night is used as a local outdoor pharmacy. This is where I used to buy my drugs and sell my drugs. What a funny place. And then I got a text message. I just got a text message. I'm at Hardee's in a white Ford van. That's a kidnap type of van. That's the van of kidnappers. Then I met up with a seller who days earlier informed me that he had strep throat, which I did not want to get because I just had it and it was awful. But because I forgot, I shook his hand anyway. And after that, I told him that I planned on driving it 50 minutes to my mechanic, which I later found out was more than they had ever driven it ever. And then he told me something that concerned me.
The clutch is extremely touchy. Can't really stop at stop signs. It's a whole experience driving it.
And after my best attempt to wash off the strep throat off my hands with a water bottle, we get to finally see the Pulse Auto Cycle for the first time in a long time. There it is.
There she is, in all her glory.
That's a nice looking Goldwing.
I got almost 100,000 miles on there. It's a good bike.
You have a couple Goldwings. You running nitrous on that Goldwing?
Yeah, it works. John hooked that up too. We can push out here and block most of the alleys.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And this is the moment where he completely shatters my dreams and the entire plan of this video. It's also the moment where it gets solidified in my mind that I have to do this. And nothing will stop me from doing it. What are the chances this makes it back to Tennessee?
Back roads? Yeah, I think so.
Highway.
Never happened.
Never gonna happen?
We don't have enough airflow.
He then proceeded to tell me that the engine will overheat if you're driving on the highway, which is a pretty big problem for us. But we will soon find out that it gets even worse. Don't know what any of these buttons do. Does that do anything? No.
Yeah.
It does? You ever drive it at night?
Yeah, it's good times. The lights are completely working.
Yeah. I don't need lights. Lights are for girls. What did they use for the front brake system? What was that?
I believe that's an Omni, 87 Omni.
And then I get a phone call from my friend Joe, aka Joe from church. I couldn't find a picture of him, so I grabbed one off of his wife's Facebook page and edited her out and put me there instead. This is not relevant in any way and serves no purpose to the plot of the story. I probably should have cut this part out. Hold on a second. Hey, what's up, Joe? I'm in Pennsylvania buying something stupid.
It's insane to drive. Once it comes up 5,000 to 7,000 RPMs and then it opens up, you got your hands full.
Yeah.
It's insane. The whole thing is a show.
And there's no reverse.
There's no reverse, so you got to park strategically.
What happens when one of those wheels blows up?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the key?
That's where the key's at.
Some stranger just yanks your key while you're driving. That sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's a beast, man.
That bike had 40,000 miles on it?
No.
Or is that a new gauge?
We didn't have the gauge. Because all the plastic up front was all smashed up, so we had to order one.
Okay.
Now everything works. And then to shift, it's
just
first,
sequential. You're right.
second, third, fourth. I'm not sure if this is fifth or sixth. Can't remember.
Should be sixth.
Sixth, and then you just come down. Finding neutral's real easy.
And how fast have you gone with this?
I went up over 100.
And it felt comfortable?
I assume like the first guy's going to space, if I'd have to guess.
Then we loaded up all the spares and extra parts in the back of Klaus. I'm working on a unicycle project, so cool.
That's basically what we got.
And that's when his friend showed up, who did most of the engine swap. And he spent the next half an hour telling me a bunch of very, very important, most likely life-saving safety information. But to be honest, I really wasn't listening. Good times. And then he showed me how to start it.
The speedometer is off, I think. When it says 60, you're doing 40.
Okay.
The other way around.
All right, so let's see your easiest, smoothest start.
It's been a while since I've done
That was the smoothest.
temperature gauge is blocked exactly by the one steering wheel column. And it'll start to flash if it overheats, but it doesn't like highway speeds. 45 to 50, you're good.
It didn't stop super fast. But you might want to take a couple test runs to get a feel for it.
Let me give it a go. And then it was my turn. I wasn't even sure if I could make it out of the parking lot. These guys have had months of practice and still had a hard time starting this thing. But luckily, I'm a professional. First is back. I think I figured it out.
That was the best I've ever seen it pull out.
Found that reverse gear you guys couldn't find. Let me see if I can do it again. Oh. No, I feel what you mean though. It's more of like the goofiness of the pedal though. What do you think? It's a little, it's
Rocket bike.
Like a jet.
the rocket bike.
Oh, what? A bicycle?
Motorcycle.
Oh.
You want to drive it?
Wait, I gotta drive it too.
You want to,
No.
we can trade? All right, come check it out.
It's just cute, that's all. You should have the news out here.
You should have the news out here.
Yeah. Call ABC.
I'll think about that. That's a good idea.
I got a rocket in my pocket. I'm getting ready to take off.
And this was the moment that I realized that the Autocycle brings a crowd. Everyone seemed to like it, including Tony from Tony's Pizza, this guy.
Is that just a motorcycle in there?
Yep, a GSXR 1100 or 1000.
And it's roadworthy?
It's road questionable. So he showed me some more important things that went right over my head, and even though I thought I was ready, I will realize later that I could not have been farther from the truth. But we headed out anyway, and the first stop is an old friend who can hopefully help us get this thing road trip ready. We still need to dial this thing in before we make the 750-mile trip back to Tennessee, and I know just the guy who can help us out. I saw him on YouTube. Let's go see if he can help us out. Roger, Alpha, Delta, Quattro. Do I sound military? Am I tricking people? Yeah, dude.
Tricking all of them.
All of them. And just when I thought I had mastered the clutch made me its... Dang it. It is hard. Third gear, we're doing this. This is happening. No, don't stop on that hill. I will totally roll back into the guy behind me. I feel like a new kid learning how to drive stick for the first time. I've not yet got this thing over 4,000 RPM. It's got a lot of power, not a lot of traction, but we got to figure out how to fix this starting issue. So as I drove the Pulse through the beautiful Pennsylvania country, not knowing the adventure that stood before me, I couldn't help but be amazed that I'm finally driving the Pulse Autocycle, the bike that sat in my shop for 3 years, the only bike that I never got running. Hold on, wait a second. Did I forget to mention that this is that bike? This is the one that me and Craig went down to Indiana from Pennsylvania to buy, but the seller lied to me and the motor was completely rusted out, and it's now powered by the wrecked Suzuki GSXR 1000 that was also sitting at my shop that I bought at auction. Well, a year ago, before moving to Tennessee, I sold it to this guy with the intentions to buy it back once he was finished. So me and this bike have some history. This thing has so much more power than what this vehicle was ever intended to do. It was actually made to be a fuel-efficient vehicle. It was supposed to get 80 miles to the gallon. Now keep in mind, the engine that's in there can get around close to 50. So with this streamlined setup, it might be able to do 80. All right, so we're going a little faster. The temperature is creeping up. We're at 228 and holding. All right, temperature, we're at 241. I don't know at what point it overheats. Let's see if I can bring the temp down a little bit. I'm just trying to keep the RPMs down a little bit. That seems to be bringing the temperature down, but I might be stuck at, there we go, 231. So as I traveled from Hogwarts Castle to the lake that Daniel Radcliffe saved Ron, I had to stop and let the Pulse Auto Cycle cool down. It was definitely getting hot. All right, so we stopped in Cornwall, Pennsylvania, and there's definitely a couple problems. One, in Pennsylvania, I'm able to ride without a helmet because I've got a motorcycle license. This is considered a motorcycle, which is why it's able to be on the road. It never has more than 3 wheels on the ground. There's no way I'm gonna fit a helmet in there and have the thing closed. Also, it's overheating, and that's kind of a big concern. So let's go to the mechanic, see if we can get this thing actually dialed in. And I'm sure we're gonna find some more things that are wrong with it once we kind of take it apart, but overall, the guys did a really good job putting it together. What we didn't realize about the place we stopped at in Cornwall was that it was a big biker place. But apparently, bikers love the Pulse Auto Cycle. They also apparently enjoy giving me unsolicited advice.
And we always say that outlet needs to be bigger than the input, otherwise you get backed up.
Really?
Yeah.
So our outlets,
right? It's an airflow.
yeah, this outlet's,
You don't want to restrict it
right.
the output.
Yeah, it looked like we're doing that.
All right, we got to ride.
Hey, you guys have a good one.
talk to you guys.
Yeah, be safe. But such popularity comes at a steep cost. Are you okay? Did you fall down? I didn't even hear you.
I was looking at your phone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You were laying down so gracefully. I was like, oh, maybe I thought you were stretching or something like that. Here we go. We'll clean it off. Oh, you need more for your knee?
What is that thing you called? Did you make?
It's called a Victory Vision.
Oh. Is that something that you made, or?
Nah, it was made in the 80s.
Really?
We revived it.
Oh, wow. No, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, good job.
You want something? You want something for your knee?
And this is why I probably should wear a helmet.
You weren't wearing a helmet?
No. I have Railster Trails. I think I'll never fall in Railster Trails, you know? Oh, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. There you go.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for your kindness.
Looks like the Pulse Auto Cycle claimed another victim. You remember when you were a kid and you just learned how to drive manual? That anxiety you would get when you're on a hill with a car behind it? That's exactly what I'm feeling. So after bandaging up that lady, hashtag I'm not a hero, I just did what any good citizen would do, I jumped back on the bike and headed to my mechanics. But not without doing the courteous thing by calling him 30 seconds before I showed up on my rapid radio. Hey Craig, get ready for me, I'm coming in hot!
Oh no, he's riding.
Hey Craig!
No way!
The Pulse Auto Cycle's back!
What?
Yeah! It's back, Craig.
Nice.
You gotta take it for a spin.
Absolutely. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fit in it, am I?
Yeah, you got plenty of space. More space than you know what to do with.
This is like getting into the Atom.
Yeah. Watch Craig stall it. He did a good job too.
Nope.
So Craig takes the Superbike powered Pulse for a ride for the first time, and I think you can tell how he feels about it by the smile on his face.
Oh, dang it. The brakes are so bad. I want to keep going. Dude, this thing is awesome. I want to do a cool burnout.
So we roll the bike into the shop to try to address the major problems, but first we decided to take some of the body off to see just exactly how they mounted this engine in here. The first time me, Craig, and the Pulse Auto Cycle were all together, Craig was super broken. Broken ribs, broken collarbone. You were on a morphine drip?
I had 2 morphine drips strapped to me.
He had them wired just to go nonstop.
Yeah.
It's like,
That was
just
fun.
hold the button down. Yeah, you had a great time.
Yeah. It was a wonderful road trip. Laying in the back of a van for 9 hours.
And that wasn't the van. The suspension was all messed up.
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable. So the first issue we try to tackle is the sticky clutch, and I don't think it's the actual clutch or the pedal mechanism. I think it's the rod or the connectors that connect them together. So we start by pulling off some body panels and lubricating everything to see if that solves the issue. Then I made Dan, my old cameraman, an offer he couldn't refuse, but did. Dan, there's room on my team for another camera guy. You say the word, I'll take you back to Tennessee with me. Ditch this whole bearded mechanic thing. All
It's
right?
hot enough in Pennsylvania. You think I want to go further south?
It's less moisture down south. I'm just saying, don't tell Craig. Ow! Nice, nailed it, Craig. That's what I miss about Craig. Craig hurting himself and it being hilarious. Also, they only made a couple hundred of these, maybe like 300. The Pulse Auto Cycle guys are right now freaking out on the comments because they they made exactly this many. Let me show you the VIN number of this vehicle. 6PJ 1M 000000000000099.
That ain't never going back in.
Nope. Do we just start moving it one way or the other and see if it helps or makes it worse?
Yeah, I think that's.
For addiction, are we gonna make a bunch of changes and then just be like, I wish it was the way it was before because I could handle that? But that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna fly too close to the sun.
We're going to fix it till it's worse.
Yeah. So after sanding things and adjusting things and pulling seats out, we kind of maybe got it slightly better. Not really sure. But because of our time restraint, this might just be one of those things that I'm gonna have to deal with for now. And then we started on the overheating issue, and it's often best to start with the simplest idea. Craig, you have a leaf blower.
Yeah, the leaf blower.
I have an idea.
Okay, so the radiator's here, and you don't feel any air until your hand is right here.
So we're completely missing the radiator.
Completely missing the radiator.
So-
By about this much.
So here's what's going on. This is the top of the Pulse, and these are the current air vents, and this is the radiator, and this is where the hot motor is. What we're discovering using the leaf blower is that the air is coming past the radiator, and since this is a liquid-cooled engine, not an air-cooled engine, we need the cool air to hit the radiator to cool this engine down. So the first idea is to move the vents that are there, and then create some type of ram air scoop to grab even more air, hopefully putting enough air on the radiator to cool the engine down.
So what's our plan of attack here?
Let's go get food, and then we'll write some stuff on a list down, and then we'll go get that stuff.
Deal. Let's do it.
Deal. All right. So we got some sushi for lunch, then went to Paul B's hardware store, and got all this awesome stuff, which should hopefully help us solve our problem. So I think I got all the stuff I need to make this thing cool better, and we found these wheels at Tractor Supply, and they're the exact ones we need. DLT IM. I don't know what IM. You know what IMT means? DLT IMT?
DOT IMT.
DLT IMT. It makes sense. So, should be able to get this thing wrapped up, maybe even tonight.
I'm gonna get this thing wrapped up so I can get these guys out of my shop.
So with the help of Joe the driver, and just in case anyone is confused, this is not the same Joe from earlier in the video that I photoshopped his face and put my face next to him. This is another Joe. Look at Joe, he's just a van driver. He don't know what he's doing. Right. With the help of other Joe, he started putting the interior back together while I used a set of skills that I acquired in my youth when I did HVAC ducts and sheet metal roofing to fab up a new, larger scoop that, according to my mathematical calculations, will increase airflow 12,000%.
Man, that's impressive.
I'm just thinking, like, you know, what will Craig do?
And then you just did it a lot better.
And then I did it worse. And here's an 8-second montage of some men at work that looks way cooler than what it actually was in real life. Man, Craig's always making the coolest sounds.
Always making the coolest jello.
Always making the coolest jello. Somehow, right in my finger.
Ribbit. Ribbit.
A fod, ribbit, ribbit.
Yeah, right there.
Right about there, right?
Yeah.
I know where my finger is, but I didn't know where my finger was.
All right, let's try it out, Craig.
Definitely throwing air. Yeah, that's quite a bit of it.
But the other side's gonna look completely different.
It's gonna be a circle.
Yeah. So we were hoping that the new scoops solve the airflow problem and it stops the thing from overheating. But we can't test it until tomorrow. The next thing we have to do is replace the wing wheels, which should be as easy as taking them off and putting new ones on. But then this happened. Oh. Are you dead, Craig? Is that made of wood?
No,
That's not good.
that's not good.
We were gonna finish up tonight. Now we're gonna finish up
Next week.
next week.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that other one's broken too.
Both sides?
Both sides.
Oh, you broke them both?
Well, no, I just broke one. Yeah, but now the problem is we're not getting any more bolts in.
We should be able to get that one out though, right?
No, well, but it's broken off inside this, in here.
But isn't there a little bit poking out though?
Well, but if it broke the bolt, there ain't no way we're getting that out.
So we broke the bolt in the axle clamp. It's one of two bolts that holds the axle in place, and without it, the wheel falls off. And if the wheel falls off when I'm on the highway, well, I'm in trouble. Now you may be thinking, oh man, that's tough luck, you broke a bolt. That's never a good sign. Actually, this might be the best thing to happen to me today, possibly all year, because sometimes seemingly inconvenient things happen, but then you later learn that God was looking out for you. And this one happens to be one of those times. And then we realized that the other bolt was broken off also. So we ended up doing the thing that we didn't want to do, which was taking the wing off the hinges. Then we attempted to weld a bolt onto the broken stud, but we were unsuccessful with it.
God! Did you see that bug fly in my ear?
Yeah, see, the heat suicide dive into your...
Did it come out?
Looked like the freaking bolt came out of your...
It did. I was like...
There's something flying around. So finally, we drilled and tapped the new holes for the bolts.
This battery will mow your backyard or drill 14,000 holes.
And just to clarify what's going on, it looks like both of these bolts were JB welded on. And one of them, before we got there, had already failed. The second one failed when we tried to loosen it. And this Pulse Auto Cycle had really not been ridden more than a few miles at a time and has not been ridden very fast in decades. So God was definitely looking out for me on this project. So we put the wing back on and the new wheels, and at 12:30 a.m., we called it a night.
Shut up!
So it's the next morning. We got this thing all buttoned up last night. Hopefully it's good. Although it seems to be rocking more than it did before. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the way it's sitting. But we have not confirmed that it's not overheating after putting the new cooling system stuff in. So me or Craig are going to take this thing for a spin and see if this thing's overheating or not. If it is overheating, I don't know what else we got to do. So we're going to put the back on and take it out and get highway speeds. How much of this thing is built with pure asbestos?
I gotta get the exhaust.
Yeah.
There it is.
I think it's right here, right? Are we? No, a little more.
We're really close, a little bit. There, I'm in. Throw some gaff tape on there and call
Bubble
it a day.
gum. Now, Craig does not know this, but I'm secretly trying to convince him to join me on the trip from Pennsylvania back to Tennessee. He's playing hard to get, though, but I think I'm going to get him.
So Sean doesn't know this, but he's being pretty obvious. He's trying to get me to go back to Tennessee in this thing with him. I don't know, but we'll see. He's working at it. He doesn't know that I know that he knows that I know what he's trying to do. I don't know, man. Told you he was being obvious.
All right, so before we go out and test this thing to see if it's working, a lot of people were wondering how I contacted Craig with a walkie-talkie so far away from actually seeing them? Well, this is actually the Rapid Radio. And the way this works is it's not actually a walkie-talkie, but it runs off of every single cell tower, every single network. And what that means is that if your cell tower goes bad, if AT&T goes down, which they did a couple months ago, it would still work off the other cell towers. The other cool thing about it is there's no monthly fees. There is an annual fee of like $50 a year for you to renew it, but there's no monthly fees. I actually like these things so much that I got one for every one of my family members. In case something goes down and I can't contact them over my cell phone, I can push the talk and wire and get a hold of my family. Also, it's cool because sometimes my son will be out riding his bike. I'll give him one of these so I can contact him instead of buying him a cell phone. I think they're pretty cool. I enjoy using these. I take these with me when I travel. Check them out, rapidradios.com. Let's go see if me and Craig fix this thing. And then it was time for Craig and I to test out the Pulse Auto Cycle to see if any of our cooling solutions actually worked. Cue the 80s music. This is where I joust another car. Oh, good. Yeah, Greg. Yeah. That's not good. Okay.
Trying to cool it off here. We're going to drop the RPMs. We're at 4,500 RPMs.
What temperature did the temp light come on at?
250. I got it to drop to 246 now.
We've not completely solved the overheating problem. I don't even know if we can say that we made it better. Because at consistent speeds, we're still kind of creeping up.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We need to mount a fan or something. We need to figure out how to get more air through that radiator.
Was the problem air in, or is it possible the problem is air out?
I can't see air out being an issue.
Well, I was told by a stranger who rides a bicycle, and he said that when they use their model airplanes, the output port should be bigger than the input port. Maybe because...
Wait, hold on. There was a lot of layers to that story.
Yeah.
A guy on a bicycle.
Yeah. Stranger.
A stranger on a bicycle.
Yeah, he looks smart.
Was talking to you about model airplanes?
Yes. Possibly remote control model airplanes.
And he said the exit needs to be bigger than the entrance.
Yes. That's what he told me, and I'm basing most of this whole road trip off of that.
So why are intake valves bigger than exhaust valves?
Well, that's a combustion engine. That's different because there's a combustion aspect of it. This is air going in, going out on the same thing. This is aviation.
Oh. Well,
you're talking about
aviation, I guess.
This is aviation.
We have wings.
I guess we need to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Let's pop the tail off.
Can
we pop the tail off on the way home?
Yeah.
And see if it does it?
Yeah.
Do we have the tools?
No.
I have a Leatherman. Ha!
I feel like we're stuck on something. I got it.
All right, you got it?
Yep. Watch, don't cut yourself.
As I rode with my friend Craig in the most uncomfortable seating position ever, it reminded me of a verse that I like. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. James 1:2-3.
All right. Well,
how'd that do?
It didn't overheat at all, but we didn't run it quite as good as we did when we were out on the highway.
The theory of airflow getting out is clearly not the issue.
I would say so. I think it's airflow getting in. Or we found the fan in there. Wow, that's hot, dude. The frame's hot.
Heat's not going anywhere.
Yeah, just if we had something in here just blowing across this.
Blowing across it?
Yeah, like it'll be up in the front. It just blows through the radiator and across the engine. I mean, that's what it's doing when it's on the road, right? Mm-hmm. So what we did, though, is we just stuck it in here, and there's just not enough airflow.
So where do we put the fan at?
Between those bars somewhere.
The outside temperature is not really the problem. This is a water-cooled engine. The hottest it's going to get from the outside heat is the heat that it is, right? All the heat that's making is not from touching the outside. It's from the inside, which is why I keep on going back to let's cool the inside the way the engine was made to be cooled, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's not easy, but it's as simple as just getting that radiator hose, cutting it, putting 2 elbows on it, and sending it through another one. And then crudely melting the other one out here. And there's plenty of room here. We can cut this, put an elbow. We could mount this like right here where the door is. See, it's right here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Very accessible.
So we need to find a radiator, fittings, and hose.
Radiator fittings and hose. I feel like radiators like this. Just mount them sideways, Craig. The inlet and outlet is at the same spot. Can we just crudely mount this thing? In some awful crude way. Take this guy off. Mount this thing right there. So after a few minutes of me trying to convince Craig that we should put a radiator on the outside, Craig convinced me that we should try to put another fan on the inside to blow air onto the motor, so that's what we did. So how big of a fan can we fit in there, and how do we install it? And then let's go grab one.
Tape measure and zip ties.
I'm fine with zip ties. That's a permanent solution. I start pulling this apart. You go find the stuff.
Okie doke. Zip ties and anything else I think we need to make this run cooler.
So while Craig went to get a new fan at the auto parts store, me and Joe started pulling the firewall out so we can mount the fan. We've not been able to take enough stuff off this thing to stop it from overheating. It'd be really nice to find a spot where it's not going to overheat and then start slowly putting stuff back on to see what's actually where the problem is.
There we go.
Okay.
It's definitely blowing air.
All right, so we got the fan in. Let's test it again and see if that solves the problem.
Yeah, there's a 98% chance it works 48% of the time.
So I took it out for a quick drive to see if this new fan would solve our overheating issue and get me one step closer to driving this thing back to Tennessee. I never got over 222, but I wasn't doing highway speed, so I couldn't get like a consistent like 65 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Good news is you know how to cool it off. You know, you just have to ease up on it.
Just slow down a little bit. The fan's not hurting anything. I'm sure it's helping.
I got a little antifreeze like additive that says it's supposed to help keep things cool. I don't know.
You can throw it in there.
Cool down. VP Fuels Cool Down. Coolant Performance Improver. Improves heat transfer, protects against corrosion.
That's what we need.
It runs up to 30 degrees. Cooler, reduces cylinder head temp up to 75 degrees.
Holy cow. Why don't we start with this?
Guys could have been halfway home by now. Treats up to 20 quarts.
Just dump the whole bottle. We need all we can get. The red light didn't kick on until 250.
Yeah, 248.
It's possible. I didn't hit those temps, but it's possible that this thing will stop it from getting anywhere close to that.
I don't know, that should work its way back and forth, I guess.
So we put the Pulse back in the garage just for dramatic effect and this epic moment right here. And even though we were not sure if the bike was ready for the trip, my wife was sure that she needed help with our 4 kids back home in Tennessee.
Forget you, Craig.
It might not be finished, running properly, safe, or even street legal, but it should make for a great adventure home. Next time on Sean Spence's Kids College Fund on something amazing. Oh, shoot. I'm not sure if this thing's gonna make home. This is sabotage. Gear up and grab your Essentials riding kit at Bikes and Beards Gear. For the next 2 weeks only, we are throwing a free sticker with every purchase. Snag those legendary 508 gloves, keep your ride gleaming with the detail spray, and represent the crew with hats, shirts, patches, and more. Head over to bikesandbeardsgear.com and get geared up today. Don't miss out. This offer ends soon.